I'm sitting here with Wes Thomas and Christian McCarthy today, and we're going to have a conversation about what Christian has seen recently as far as in his practitioner area. And we're going to talk a little bit about it and open it up pretty much for a discussion between the three of us. And anybody else that wants to send an email in or anything can get a hold of either Wes or Christian on the profile. So Christian, good morning, and Wes, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is the other day Christian and I were at a meeting, and the part of the conversation turned to basically individual clients that were seeking Christian out, that were looking for further spiritual guidance in sort of enhancing the path that they were on as far as knowing their own spiritual capabilities. Right. Something along those lines. So having said that, Christian, why don't you say a couple things and talk about that a little bit, and then we'll just free-for-all conversation here.
Right. So, to be a little, I guess, what you said was kind of a really general, large umbrella. To be a little more specific in my field, being a psychic medium, the thing I've noticed, at least within the last year, and even in the last half a year, a lot of clients coming in, not to necessarily get in touch with loved ones who've passed over, but to be able to sit with somebody who's already in the light, to be able to ask the questions about their psychic self. It was something that they knew has always existed with them. It was stronger, more prevalent in their childhood. But now they're looking at their life and in a way, because this keeps coming up in them. This keeps coming more forward in their conscious mind. And they don't want to shut it off. They just want to understand what it means and what they can do with it. They feel like there's this desire to do something with it, but they just don't have much of an understanding of what it is, what it means, and what's going on. And so they're seeking guidance on which direction to go with it, at least in a general way, so they can start fine-tuning how they truly want to move forward with it for each individual, for themselves. And that seems to be the thing I'm noticing. To me, seems like maybe it's a really great representation. The consciousness is starting to shift. Everybody was so worried about this December 21st, 2001 thing, but I've never received any information. It was supposed to be really anything, like we see in the press and in the movies.
Right.
It's supposed to be more of consciousness coming awake and aware. And I get a feeling, in a sense, this is what I'm starting to physically see in front of me with these clients that keep coming in.
Now, is it pretty much at this particular time, or could it have, it's probably been evolving or taking place over many, many years. And now, in your particular situation, you're seeing a lot of it now.
Yes.
Okay, so in other situations, it may have been taking place in other people earlier on, years ago.
Sure.
So, Wes, what do you think?
Well, you mentioned something about benefits. What are the benefits of achieving this state? I wasn't quite clear as to.
Well, I think the true benefit of it is that if these people are really wanting to get in touch with their true psychic self, that they'll be able to get in touch better with their true self. Mm-hmm. Because one cannot exist without the other. And the closer and closer you get to true self, the closer and closer you get to this new world, this shift in consciousness that everybody's been talking about and been hoping for.
Is that a balance?
It is. It has to be.
So you're trying to achieve a greater balance?
You're trying to I'd have to say you're trying to achieve a greater understanding of who you truly are. Mm. And who you truly are is a balanced spiritual individual. Mm-hmm. Okay? It just has to exist. And I think that's going to be some of the benefit of what humanity has been in the past, is to help us to understand what not to be. Okay?
Right.
And the more and more they get to true self, through the psychic self, through their psychic practice, for some people that's going to be the path. That the consciousness will just raise and raise and raise. But to me, that's the benefit of it. Because it keeps coming forward. They can't ignore it. They try to turn it off. One gentleman, a client that had come to me, almost felt kind of bad for him. I mean, if you were to see him, you would never guess this guy has any kind of psychic ability whatsoever. but he does. Spirit talks to him and tells him things about, not things that he shouldn't know, but things that a person around him is being concerned about, and tell him that it's okay. And he also has the premonition dreams, and that kind of stresses him out. He's like, I don't want to shut it off, but I don't know what to do with it. And he's always, you can tell in talking to him, he's always ignored his true self by being what he thought society was telling him to be. And that's what he's lived his whole life. And now he can't ignore it anymore. So where else is there to go with it but to true self? That's the benefit of it.
Okay.
But I sense in the overall atmosphere of things, people are aware that we have to change
Right.
what we are doing, with ourselves and in the world. We have to take care better care of the self and of our environment. So I'm seeing that. I'm not as in touch with the psyche, but I see that there must be some sort of relationship between this need for a higher awareness and tapping into those deeper parts.
Right, but it'll go hand in hand. A lot of people say they're not in touch with the psychic. What they're unaware of is that they are every day. They just don't call it that. We're not taught to accept it as that, and so hence the ability to have the psychic ability flowing through us is kind of hindered, right? But some people will come to the path of understanding. We all are aware. We got to have a shift in consciousness in the way that we view our world that we have chosen to live in. Some will get to it through the psychic path, some through other paths. And that's why I'm saying, for me specifically, I'm just starting to see this influx of people coming in going, I don't know what to do with this. It's just there, and it's constantly like kind of pushing them just a little bit. Not meanly or anything, but it's just pushing.
A little nudge here and there.
It is. But it's yeah, exactly. But it's enough now that they can't ignore it, and it's kind of unsettling to them because they realize that some things they're going to have to let go of that they found a sense of comfort in, but has never served them in a positive, loving way.
Are these people all close in age, or are they all ranges?
All ranges. No, they're all ranges.
Okay.
Age is irrelevant.
Is there something that you've sort of seen that is sort of a common thread in why they're getting pushed? I mean, has there been something that has occurred within their lives, or is it just
No,
it varies?
I'd have to say no. I say, that it has to vary. The most common thing that I seem to hear is that it was something that they always knew in the back of their mind that they had because they remember it from certain instances from their childhood. But now all of a sudden it's come back up in such a way that it's just that push, it's that nudge, and they're like, and they all feel a sense. Now here's the thing I thought was really neat. Every single one of them that I've talked to have felt a sense of, I don't want to turn it off because I really feel that maybe it can benefit humanity. What do I do?
Yeah, that is a common thing.
Yes, it is. But they don't quite understand it because he was either suppressed in their childhood or through society or whatever. And so now they get a sense that, I know I don't have to be scared of it, but I don't know what to do with it either. Because they've never been told the opposite of what's a positive. This is a great thing, and this is what you can do with it. And so it's helping guide them in getting in touch with their true self so that they know specifically what they can do with this psychic energy that's coming through, that's coming in. Because everybody psychically is different. Everybody's not the same, right? Every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. It's just like doctors, there's all different kinds of doctors, right? There's all different kinds of psychics, and they just got this one gentleman I was talking about, his big one was premonitions. It's just he didn't know how to handle the energy of it. Some people are medical intuitives.
So are you able to give them guidance and assurance?
I do. I give them I do definitely give them assurance because I let them know this is a positive, and yes, you're right. It's a loving way to move forward, and it will benefit not only yourself but humanity. If at a minimum you lead by example. I never tell anybody you have to go out and tell people do this, do that, do that. So no, you go to your true self in a loving way and live from there out. And then people will see that as an example. That's the best way to affect the consciousness for the shift. And then, I tell them, I offer them up a couple of books that they can read. And I can let you know what those are, so if you want to put it on the website, that helps them.
Give me that information later and I'll put it up on the slide.
Right, because I think they're great because they're very simplistic in their reading and they're very simplistic in their design to help people get in touch with their true psychic self. Regardless if you're going to do it for self or for others, but you need to do it for yourself first. But one is to help you develop your psychic ability, to start to recognize it and understand that that's what it is. And the other one is to tell you, discusses what's called your psychic type. For instance, I tell people I'm a clairvoyant medium. Clairvoyant meaning the majority of my information comes in through images, but there's different types of those too. And when people read that book, they're like, oh my God, they start to realize, well, I've been getting my information like this my whole life. Yeah, that's your psychic ability. You were born with it. You
See,
were
that
born with
clear
it.
vision was, some people receive it in audio form,
Clairaudient.
or for me it's writing.
Right.
You know.
So you feel it coming in, that could be considered clairsentient. There's all these different kinds, and I know they put labels to try to help us identify what's going on, right? But when you read this one book, you know, one of these two books I'm going to offer up, it's neat, because then you start to feel a sense of comfort with yourself. Oh, really? People really are going through this. People really experience it this way. I'm just not kind of off my rocker.
Right,
You know, because some people are worried about that.
right,
So, yeah.
okay.